Hi everybody, it's Daisy here. I just wanted to share, I had a bit of a revelation today about me and my journey and how this can really help with other people who are going through sometimes difficult times, sometimes hard times, and actually how to look at them really differently. I'm going back to about 8 years ago when Jack was very tiny. I was a single mum. I lived on my own and I had very little money. I was buying and selling things from jumble sales on eBay to make ends meet. I lived in a really tiny little bungalow that I could barely afford the rent on, and just worked night and day with all these bits of rubbish from different sales to make the money to be able to feed Jack and feed my dogs. And it's incredible how quickly things can change. What happened in that moment? What happened in that moment to change things though was I was in a relationship with someone who was much better off than me, and I kind of sat back thinking that was going to help me and that was going to save me, and kind of relied on him hopefully to support me. Really, looking back on it, I didn't think I was that at the time, but I didn't do enough for myself to get myself out of that situation. I kind of sat back, and what happened was that relationship turned incredibly toxic very fast. Probably my doing, actually, by relying on someone too much and hoping that would happen, dreaming of maybe marriage and that kind of stuff and being looked after and living happily ever after. It doesn't happen that way sometimes. I mean, I'm sure there are people out there that does too, but in this moment I was living in this place, seeing this guy, and then just literally overnight it turned so toxic and he pulled the rug out from under me and he just literally left. And in that moment I was alone, completely alone. My plan to get back up and running was completely and utterly smashed, and I had nothing, absolutely nothing. And the one thing he had he used to give me gifts, he used to give me bits and pieces, and they were expensive, I couldn't afford them. And one thing he'd given me was a laptop. And it's funny because I'd never really used it before. It was like a gift. I was really grateful, but I hadn't used it. And I got the laptop out and I started thinking about what I could do to make the situation better, because a little eBay business that I was running wasn't going to make enough money, and I wasn't, getting enough sleep as it is, and I was packaging things day and night. I was taking packages to the little post office in the local town and spending an hour posting all these little things, some of them like selling for £1 each and stuff like that. So ridiculous plan, really wasn't working, wasn't going to happen. So I had to find a way out. And in this moment, I got the laptop out, I powered it up, I opened up Excel, and I started making a list. And I started making a list of all the companies that I could possibly work with and set something up with and set a business up with. And I'd been a recruiter before. I'd always worked in London. I'd never worked anywhere but, and I'd always, been very local and be in proximity to the big clients that I'd worked with. So I had no idea how this would work. So I'd set up the laptop on my desk in my kitchen, actually. In my kitchen, it was a really old, clunky old table that used to wobble, and the laptop, it was quite a good laptop on a really wonky table. I had a phone that was plugged in to the wall, and I started making calls to these companies, and I started talking to them about if I could help them find people. Now at this point I had no idea how I was going to, if they wanted someone or they found someone, how I was going to do it. So I was making these calls. Lots of people were saying no. I was like, yeah, this isn't going to work from here, I have to meet people. And one of the companies turned around and said, yeah, we're looking for someone, can you find us one of these? So I think it was a project manager at the time. A pre-contracts manager it was. So I was like, yes, of course I can. Yes, of course I can. That is absolutely what I do. I will absolutely find you one. And put the phone down. And then in that moment I was like, okay, I have no database. I have no way of finding people apart from, I hadn't even logged onto LinkedIn. I hadn't looked at LinkedIn or heard about LinkedIn since I'd had my baby, and that sort of come out in that time. So I spent all night working out and learning LinkedIn to try and find a pre-contracts manager for this company. And to cut a long story short, I got right the way to the end of the process. I found 2 really good pre-contracts managers for this company who they interviewed, and I hadn't met them. And unfortunately, I was picked to the post by another recruiter. But I then, in that moment, had a revelation that I could do this on my own. And the only reason I got to that point is because I was put in such a difficult situation that I had no choice. And I suppose the lesson, and then obviously after that, I went on to make placements, and I placed one of the pre-contracts managers in another company then, because my confidence built. And from then on, my career grew and grew and grew. And people who know me already, I now have set up 2 recruitment companies. I had 19 staff at one point. They're scaling down a little bit now, but I'm recruited, hundreds and hundreds of people into roles. So that's the end result of it. But the real key is, and the real lesson is, if you're feeling like there's no way out, that is the time to act. It really is. I've been in these situations before and I've sat there and I've done nothing. And please don't do that, because the most important thing, do something. Whatever it is, do something, because where it leaves you, from 8 years ago to now is another world. And I think Tony Robbins says it beautifully, that if you want to take the island, you have to burn the boats. What a brilliant concept that is. So I am here just wanted to inspire you people. Anyone that's thinking about doing something or trying something and has put it off or feels in despair, do something, whatever it is, because you never know where it will lead you. The only thing that won't get you there is inaction. So take some action and do something wonderful, and you never know where you're going to be. Anyway, there we go. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.